So when digital technology came along and the Synclavier came along, Frank picked one up and started working with that. Now, things appear on the album Thingfish, bits and pieces, but a funny little album that came out was the work of Francesco Zappa, performed once again by the Barking Pumpkin Digital Gratification Consort. And I think this is one of the early albums that came out that where he was still getting to know the technology, I suppose. That morphed itself into the Grammy Award winning Jazz from Hell album, and that's that one there. Good TV there, and that's what goes on. And you've got some great tracks on this. My old band, The Instrumental, had a good crack at the G-Spot Tornado, track 5. We got it going in rehearsal, but we never got to play it live, which I thought we could have, but we never quite got there in the end. There was... yeah, we had a crack. I've got a drum chart for it in the other room that I spent ages working out. And then what happened is the Jazz from Hell happened. Then Frank Zappa got ill, as we all know. He was diagnosed with prostate cancer in the late 80s after the Broadway, the Hardway tour of 1988. And what happened then was... he confined himself to the studio and did his best to work to get as much of his music out there before his passing. And during that time, what happened was there was a wonderful German ensemble called the Ensemble Modern, and the leader the leader of the group, Thomas Fichter, was actually on my show, my 50th episode. Now that this is around about episode 621, but Ensemble Modern came to Australia in 1996, end of 96, and what happened was back in the early 90s, going back a few years, they presented themselves to Frank Zappa and said, we'd like to have a crack at playing this unplayable music, because one of the things that Frank Zappa said was after his experience with symphony orchestras and stuff, the only way he could possibly get his music played was have a computer play it for him. There's lots of opinions out there about computer music these days, sort of thing. But at the time, Frank Zappa was getting into such advanced polyrhythmic music that it was becoming ever increasingly difficult and expensive for him to try and have it realised. So this towards the end, the Ensemble Modern came up with what we now love and cherish as the Yellow Shark album, and Frank was happy with this one. He loved the band, he loved the ensemble, and he finally realised a great ensemble playing his music authentically, the way that he liked it played. There is a lot of posthumous stuff as well that is coming up. Feeding the Monkeys at May Masson, which I don't have a copy of here, but that's also posthumously released Synclavier work. And I have various other little albums here as well. Frank Zappa Meets the Mothers of Prevention is another one, and I'll talk about that a little bit in just a second.